again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Browns Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, and this is where you can stop in and get caught up on some of the latest news involving our Cleveland Browns and then get a take attached to each of those news items along the way. Thank you to everyone who has liked our previous episodes. Hopefully you'll like this episode, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. If you haven't already, I would appreciate it. We are on our way to 6,000 subscribers, and I can't thank you enough. I also love it when you get your comments in the viewer comment sections. Boy, oh boy, we had some healthy discussions here over the last few weeks. Coming up on today's show, why could we expect Kenny Pickett to be better in Cleveland than he was in Pittsburgh? Pro Football Focus has their list of the top 32 defensive players in the NFL. They got it out, and 4 Browns are on it. Also, a former Browns quarterback who's now a well-known football analyst explains why Shedeur Sanders' game is perfect for the Browns offense. And in the viewer comments, a Browns draft pick, one viewer says, will never, ever make sense. Okay. First things first, though. We got to talk Kenny Pickett. Pickett in Pittsburgh. I like alliteration, but why in the world would we think that Kenny Pickett is going to be better here in Cleveland than he was in Pittsburgh? Let's first talk about. I did a deep dive on this, folks. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong in Pittsburgh, and there's not one answer. There's 50 answers, and it goes from. His struggles were multifaceted, to say the least. But it starts with, Matt Canada and his offensive scheme. The Steelers, no offensive line, no offensive weapons, no running game. They say, Pickett wouldn't push the ball down the field. But, every time somebody says, okay, well, Pickett couldn't push the ball down the field, then somebody says, well, that's because of Matt Canada's offense. I say, oh, well, Pickett's decision-making was bad. They say, well, that's because the offensive line was terrible. He didn't have any time to throw. It's tit for tat on all of this with Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh. And so then, they signed Russell Wilson because, this was a first-round pick they used on Pickett, and I think, and then we've talked about this before, he also had the injury issues, which I think was a bigger part of this whole thing. Remember, 15-10. I know he's only got 13 touchdown passes. I know that, but 15-10 as a starter, still a winning record, and then we talked about Terry Bradshaw doubling down and saying, they didn't protect him, they didn't get him an offensive line, and so they end up trading him to Philly. Now he's from the Philadelphia area. He grew up 70 miles from outside of Philly, and so you would think he's going to stay there forever. Now, this is what he said when he wanted out of Pittsburgh. He made it clear he wanted out of Pittsburgh. He said, I thought it was time. It just felt like it was time from things that transpired. Wanted to get a chance to go somewhere and grow my career. And so off he goes to Philadelphia, and which was short-lived because the Browns come calling because, I don't know, they see something in him. And this is why, okay, we talked about Flacco, why you think, he will be better in Cleveland than he was in Indy last year. We went over that, but here's why Pickett has a chance to be better in Cleveland. It's not only, it's a fresh start, but he's got a better running game, right? They said that's what he lacked in Pittsburgh. He definitely has a better running game with Judkins and Sampson. Better offensive line, right? With experience. They're going to be healthy to start. If he is the starter week 1, we expect one of the veterans him or Flacco to start week 1. He's going to have a better offensive line than he did in Pittsburgh. He's got a system that's predicated to his play, right? He doesn't have to push the ball downfield in this offense, right? You're talking about good running game, play action, and high percentage passes, bootlegs, screens, things like that. And so the other thing, though, and this is the big thing, folks, you have a coach who believes in him. Remember, they vetted Pickett when he was coming out of college. And they know what they have in Pickett. And they obviously liked what they had in Pickett. They felt like he fit the offense. But back then, they had Deshaun Watson. And so, in the lack of a better term, they didn't need him because they had Deshaun Watson. And Watson was, they were trying to find a system for Watson, that debacle. But these are the reasons. Whether it's going to happen, I don't know. I mean, but these are the reasons he has a chance to be better here in Cleveland than he was in Pittsburgh. And, it remains to be seen. I mean, we're on the eve of mandatory minicamp. And so it's, we're going to start, things are going to start changing quickly this week. And we'll see what happens with Kenny Pickett. Hey, did you see this? The Pro Football Focus, which seems to have become like it's the end-all, be-all when it comes to rating players in the NFL. But Pro Football Focus put out their top 32 on defense. And check this out. Number 1, Myles Garrett, man. And listen, here's the thing. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe we see him so much. We don't really appreciate how good he is. But listen to this. Garrett finishes the NFL's top pass rusher for the 3rd consecutive year, leading the league in PFF pass rush grade, total pressures, pass rush win rate, and pressure rate. All of that. That's why he's number 1 on their list. Number 10, he's the lone cornerback from the Browns to make the list, Denzel Ward. I mean, he's always hurt. That's the problem with Denzel. We got to keep him on the field because when he is, listen to this, even with the injuries last year, still led the NFL with 17 forced incompletions and an 80.4 PFF coverage grade in man and zone match coverage. It was tops in the NFL. I mean, that's why, we saw AFC North Access vote him the top cornerback in the division. I mean, Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett, man, that's a nice 1-2 punch. And then how about Jordan Hicks coming in at number 20? I mean, he earned his highest PFF grade since he left Philadelphia in 2018. Last year, he had a 77.4 PFF overall grade in his first season with us. And so hopefully he can build on that even a little bit more. And then Ronnie Hickman there, number 24. Hickman, his overall grade from last year, 77.2. He ranked 13th among safeties. And but he had an 81.7 PFF run defense grade, which we like that. We got to be able to stop the run. So there you go. So the Browns, I'll tell you, this defense, folks, it could be something special this year. And we're off to a good start with those 4 guys playing on our side of the ball. How about this? Robert Griffin III. Remember him? He was with us. He was with us for a year. And then, the injuries did him in. He was such a big deal coming out of college when he did, and he went to Washington. And I'll tell you what, he's another one, who really, I mean, he analyzes quarterbacks. He looks at a lot of things. I mean, he did a lot of work with the ABC and the college game and ESPN. So he's still dialed in. But listen to what he said about Shedeur Sanders and why he thinks he will be a successful NFL quarterback. He said, when you watch all of the clips of Shedeur Sanders, you see why his tape said he was a first-round QB. He plays with NFL timing and rhythm, reads with his feet, plays ahead of the defense, has more than enough arm strength, and he knows how to layer the ball. And so, Robert Griffin III, RG3, I mean, say what you say about his own ability. I mean, I think if without the injuries, he probably would have had a much longer career. But, he looks at a lot of tape. He studies a lot of tape. And to say that, and I'll tell you, what matters most when you're talking about Kevin Stefanski's offense is he says that, he plays with NFL timing and rhythm. And so that is what this offense is predicated on. And, the accuracy, and we're already seeing it early on with, the chances he's getting. His completion percentages are very high. Also very high. You guys, viewer comments, Hall of Fame status in my opinion already. And today we're going to start with Derek Washington, 4833, who says, I've never been a Browns fan. My younger brother is a diehard fan. Thank you for that, younger brother. I am a Shedeur fan. I truly want the Browns to be successful because I love your passionate fan base. And you, oh, he's talking about me. Sir, I really enjoy and have subscribed. Have a blessed day. Well, Derek Washington, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, we are all we're diehard fans, and we're all hoping for the same thing. And it just seems like as the days go, the days turn into weeks, and we keep inching closer to the season. And with mandatory minicamp starting this week, things are going to start shifting. And Shedeur is definitely he's doing everything he could be doing right now to just keep climbing the ladder in the quarterback room. Snoop Patrol V. DG in the third will never make logical sense. Maybe time will tell a different tale. Browns fans are hopeful for Shedeur, and that's exactly it. I mean, if you want to sum up the Browns, the basic general consensus of Browns fans' opinions on the quarterbacks that we drafted this year, that's pretty much it. No one will ever make sense of the Dylan Gabriel pick, but everybody is hopeful Shedeur can take the reins and take us to the promised land. That's where every Browns fan is living right now. Ian Coleman, 9988, he said, we need a new receiver that can get vertical. He said, we have a wide receiver competition that features a bunch of Division IV receivers. So, I mean, obviously, Ian not happy with the wide receiver room. I like Judy. I mean, we'll see what Seth Tillman has to offer. I wish Deontay Johnson was at OTAs the past couple of weeks, but he'll be there this week. It's mandatory. So he'll be there. It would have been nice for him to get a head start, but the other guy, the guy that I like still on the beach that I think would be nice in our room, even though he's 32, is Keenan Allen. He's 32, but he caught 70 passes. We talked about him a few weeks ago, but 70 catches, 744 yards, and 7 touchdowns last year in that Bears offense where Caleb was struggling for much of the year. But and I think with his age and he's had some injuries recently. It could affect his value. They're talking about maybe $6 to $10 million. It could be as much as $16 million for Keenan. I would not spend that much, but I mean, if you can get him in here for like $6 million, if you think you really need to fill a hole, I would do that. But I just like what he did last year. He's a vet. I mean, he's going to be hungry. He's going to want to win, and I think he'll do whatever it takes to help the Browns win. Okay, we're going to end on Todd Parsley, 51-64. We talked about the Dome Stadium and everything and the cold weather, and Deshaun didn't want to play in the cold. Well, the cold weather in Cleveland with the lake effect is what we love during games. Just watch the fans. Well, I'll tell you what. I went to my best man, Bill Bitson, which if you are familiar with the Cleveland area, Bitson Funeral Homes. But Bill and I went to two of the coldest games ever in 1989. And the Minnesota game, we went to that game. And they ran out of hot chocolate in like the first 2 minutes of the game. All the Gatorade froze on the sideline. And the Browns, so this game goes to overtime. And I live so close to, we both did. We were like where I grew up was like 5 minutes from downtown Cleveland. Anyway, the game's going to overtime. We couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, we're dying. It was so cold. And so we run to the car, jump in the car, drive home, got it. We got home. That's how close we lived to the stadium. Got home just in time to see the Browns kick the winning field goal in overtime. So we were listening to the game on the start of the overtime on the way home and got home just in time to see the Browns. But man, I'll never forget that game. And there was we went to the Bengals game that year, and that game too was super, super cold, man. But yeah, I mean that's what we do in Cleveland. It's kind of like Green Bay. They deal with it too. But yeah, we always felt like it was a home field advantage. But going to Brook Park. Now, everybody, I'm fine. Let's go sit in the warmth. I'm older now. I probably wouldn't even last in the fourth quarter in that kind of cold. All right, that's going to do it. Oh, we're on the verge of mandatory minicamp. Mandatory minicamp Monday was what we're going to call tomorrow's show. So don't miss it. We'll see you. Go Browns. We'll see you next time.